No, please refrain from doing this. Assist me. They refer to her as a witch. They claim she has taken all the love and affection their parents provide. We must eliminate her. Midday suggested, let us bury her alive. Banonley added that their hatred for her was so intense they would do anything to rid themselves of her. However, what they were unaware of was that this child is no ordinary one. Their choice will reverberate throughout the kingdom. Let us return to the beginning of this tale. Before I proceed, I kindly ask you to subscribe, like, and comment. This motivates me greatly. Additionally, please inform me of your location while watching. I am eager to know from which part of the world my wonderful friends are tuning in. Enjoy music, the story. The sun blazed fiercely in the village of Ilio. It was so scorching that the red earth beneath cracked. In a modest home resided Mr. Doe and his wife Amuda. They had 3 daughters, and Mr. Dow had been yearning for a male child. One day, Omola visited the river. She knelt down, weeping and imploring the river to grant her a son. The river goddess manifested before her. She assured her that she would give birth to a remarkable child who would transform her family forever. 9 months later, she welcomed a girl named Sime. Sime was a miracle. Upon her birth, she was unlike any other child. She possessed extraordinarily long hair that enveloped her tiny form. When she smiled, her hair radiated light. Conversely, when she cried, it darkened. As she matured, her hair continued to grow. It did not remain short like that of other girls. It cascaded behind her like a lengthy black river. When Simei strolled to the market, the elderly men and women would pause and gaze. Look at her hair, they would exclaim. The Orishas have favored her. Yet, within her own household, Sime was not regarded as a miracle. She was a target. Sime had 3 older sisters, Ta, Bolani, and Midday. They were not unattractive girls, but their hearts were as dry as wood, merely awaiting a spark of jealousy to ignite them. They despised Sime intensely. One morning, the sisters made their way to the river to fetch water. Sime accompanied them. She balanced a heavy pot atop her head, yet she moved with the grace of a queen. Her long hair was elegantly wrapped in a beautiful cloth. Observe her, Ta murmured to the others. She believes she is so exceptional. She does not even clean the floors as we do. Mother is too concerned that Sime might trip over that long hair. It is unjust, Bolin remarked, her eyes filled with anger. All the boys in the village present her with gifts. I am the eldest. They ought to be offering gifts to me. Midday, the youngest of the 3, was the most spiteful. Mother and father favor her more. They provide her with the largest piece of meat in the soup. They grant her the best sleeping spot. She continues to be a part of our lives. We must find a way to make her leave. Sime sensed the negative emotions in the household. She endeavored to be exceedingly kind. She completed her sister's chores. She offered them her beautiful beads. However, the more kindness she showed, the more they despised her. One afternoon, the sun blazed so fiercely that even the lizards sought refuge under the rocks. Sim's father was at the farm, while her mother was at the market. The 3 sisters set out to locate Simei. Sime, Ta called, her voice sweet as sugar, though it was a deception. We ventured into the bush yesterday. We discovered a hidden spot adorned with large red flowers. We thought you might like to wear them in your hair to impress Mother. Simei's eyes widened with excitement. Really? You found flowers for me? Indeed, Midday replied, holding a basket. But we must hurry before the sun sets and the forest darkens. Sime followed them. They moved away from the village, passing the goats and the houses. Soon, the forest grew dense. The trees towered high and leaves were abundant. The air was fragrant with the scent of damp earth. Sime felt a twinge of fear. It is quite far, she whispered, clutching her long hair tightly to prevent it from snagging on the thorns. Just a little further, Bolin chuckled, though her laughter had a cruel edge to it. They arrived at a location where the grass was a mix of green and yellow. In the center of this grassy area was a large hole. It was an exceptionally deep hole. The sisters had dedicated 3 days to secretly digging it. Their efforts were fueled by their intense hatred for Simei. The hole was both dark and cold. Where are the flowers? Sime inquired, leaning over to take a look. The three sisters halted their movement and turned around. Their expressions had lost their sweetness, and their eyes were filled with rage. "There are no flowers," Ta shouted. She reached out and seized Sime's long, beautiful hair. Simei let out a scream. "Do you believe you are a queen?" Midday yelled, shoving Sim's shoulder. "Let's see how lovely you appear when you are trapped in the dirt." "Please," Sime pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "Sisters, why are you doing this?" "I haven't done anything wrong." "Do you really think so?" "You are taking our lives from us," Bolani replied. All three sisters placed their hands on Sime and delivered a powerful shove. Sime screamed as she plummeted into the darkness, hitting the bottom with a loud thud that caused her great pain. She looked up to see her sisters. They were gathering large branches and bushes, which they tossed over the hole to conceal it. "Goodbye," Ta yelled down. "Now the village will forget you." They returned to the village, weeping to anyone who would listen that a tiger had attacked them in the bush. They claimed that because Sime's hair was too long, she could not run quickly, allowing the tiger to catch and devour her. Their parents nearly lost their sanity upon receiving the news. In the bush, the light faded away, leaving complete darkness. Sime lay in the mud, her beautiful hair now tangled and filthy. She cried out repeatedly, "Mama, Papa, please help me." But no one could hear her, only the forest listened. Sime remained in the darkness for an extended period, believing she was destined to die, until she heard a sound that suggested someone was drawing near. Sime pressed herself against the wall, trembling. "Who is there?" she called out. "Is it a ghost?" A low, grumbling noise responded. It initially resembled a growl, but soon transformed into a sigh. "Who is down there?" a voice inquired. Sime became motionless. The voice was deep and raspy, akin to two stones grinding against each other, yet it communicated in her language. "My name is Sime. Please assist me," she pleaded. "Hold on, I will rescue you," the voice responded. Simeon emitted a scream. Upon realizing whom she was conversing with, she saw a large, powerful monkey. Its fur was the shade of charcoal, but its eyes were not those of an animal. They reflected the sorrow of a person. "A talking monkey?" Sime questioned, her voice quivering. The monkey gazed at her, observing her long, unkempt hair, and felt a sense of compassion. Trembling with fear, Sime's heart raced like a small drum. She stared at the imposing monkey, who possessed long arms and a profoundly sad expression. "Are you going to eat me?" Sime asked, her voice barely audible. The monkey shook his head. "No," he replied, his voice rough like sand. "I am not a monster." The monkey entered the hole, demonstrating remarkable strength as he grasped the pit's walls with his large hands. He instructed Sime to climb onto his back and hold on tightly. She wrapped her arms around his furry neck and buried her face in his back. He ascended, leaping over the thorns that her cruel sisters had cast down. Once they emerged, the forest appeared dark and menacing, with trees resembling giant hands reaching out towards them. "I cannot return home," Sime lamented. "My sisters will kill me." "Are you saying your own sisters did this to you?" the monkey asked, looking at her. He recognized her beauty, even with the shadow of death upon her. "I have a place," he said. "It is a tall stone tower. No one goes there. You can find refuge." They journeyed for an extended period, with the monkey moving swiftly while Sime kept pace. Eventually, they arrived at their destination, an exceedingly tall tower devoid of doors or stairs, simply standing amidst the trees. "How do we enter?" Sime inquired. "You must ascend to the top," he replied. He lifted her and scaled the tower's exterior like a lizard. He placed her within a small window at the very top. The room was adorned with soft leaves and aged blankets. Although it was secure, Sime felt sorrowful. She was entirely alone in the sky. "I must go in search of food for us," the monkey stated. "But heed my words, Sime. Do not approach the window for anyone, only for me." "How will I recognize it as you?" she inquired. The monkey emitted a loud sound. Hoot hoot clack. He clapped his hands 3 times. "When you hear that sound, it is I," the monkey explained. "Then you may open the window for me." Days passed. Sime resided in the tower. Each morning, the monkey ventured into the bushes. He sought sweet mangoes and clean water for Sime. Every evening, he returned. Hoot hoot cluck. Sime would hear the signal, and her heart would leap with joy. She would open the window. The monkey would grasp the wall and ascend. The following day, the sun shone brightly. Sydney felt lonely, so she began to sing a gentle song her mother used to sing. Her voice drifted out of the window and down to the forest floor. Suddenly, she heard voices, angry voices. I tell you, I heard her, a voice snapped. It was Midday, the youngest sister. Sime froze. She crawled to the window and peered down through the leaves. Her three sisters stood directly below the tower, carrying baskets of wood. Sime is dead, Midday stated. The tiger consumed her. Remember, Tay said, though she appeared anxious. She gazed at the tower. This place feels peculiar. Let's leave. No, Midday replied. I heard a song. It sounded just like that girl. Sime's heart raced against her ribs. She inadvertently knocked a small stone off the window ledge. Clink. It fell right near Balani's foot. The sisters looked up. Sime withdrew her head and concealed herself in the dark corner. She held her breath. She remained so still that she felt like a statue. Below, the sisters argued for an extended period. Eventually, the forest fell silent. They had departed. Sime began to weep. Even here, her sisters were tormenting her. When the moon emerged, Simei heard the signal, hoot hoot tw, followed by 3 loud claps. Simei rushed to the window. As the monkey climbed up, he nearly lost his balance. Simei promptly let down her hair for him. The monkey seized her hair and ascended quickly. Once inside, he noticed Sime's red eyes. They are here, Simei wept. My sisters are searching for me. The monkey settled beside her. Lacking the words to mend her heart, he remained silent. He reached into his pouch and retrieved a lovely ripe mango. After peeling it, he handed it to her. Do not be afraid. You are safe here, the monkey reassured her. He shared tales of the forest and spoke of the stars. His kindness was evident as he untangled her hair with a wooden comb. Sime began to forget that he was a monkey. She only perceived his gentle eyes. Why are you so kind to me? Sime inquired. However, he did not answer. A sorrowful expression crossed his face, evoking sympathy from Sime. She extended her hand and touched his soft fur. Sime, he said, I believe you are the most beautiful girl in the world. Not for your hair, but for your kindness towards a creature like me. Sime gazed at him, no longer seeing a monkey, but a friend, someone who cherished her more than her own sisters. You are not a monster, Sime declared, leaning closer. Nervousness coursed through her, causing her hands to tremble. She shut her eyes and kissed the monkey on his fuzzy cheek. Suddenly, the room began to illuminate. A brilliant light, reminiscent of the sun, filled the tower, forcing Sime to shield her eyes. A loud whoosh echoed, akin to the wind. When the light faded, Simei gasped. The monkey had vanished, replaced by a strikingly handsome man clad in royal garments woven with gold thread. His skin was smooth, and he stood tall and strong. Who are you? Sime asked, her mouth agape. The man smiled, mirroring the kind smile of the monkey. My name is Prince Adi, he replied. Your kiss has shattered the heavy chains binding my soul. A long time ago, I was quite unkind, he murmured. I was filled with pride. I believed I was superior to everyone else. A spirit observed my heart and remarked, if you choose to behave like a beast, you will appear as one. And then, in an instant, I transformed into a monkey. Sime was overjoyed to the point of tears. Yet, beneath her happiness, she felt a sense of fear. She recalled her sisters. She remembered the pit. Join me in my kingdom. Allow me to provide you with the life your family has denied you. You will be cherished and adored, Prince Adi stated. We must first return to my village, Sime replied. I want my mother and father to know that I am alive. Prince Adi grasped her hand. We will go, and I will ensure your safety. Sime and Prince Adi exited the forest. The prince held Sime's hand firmly. He appeared remarkably brave in his golden attire. Sime felt as though she were in a splendid dream. Soon, they encountered the red dust of Elio. They saw the houses and the bustling marketplace. When the townspeople spotted Sime, they dropped their baskets. "Sime is alive," they exclaimed. "The girl with the golden long hair has returned." Sime's mother and father rushed out of their homes. They wept and embraced her, unable to believe their eyes. However, standing behind them were her three sisters, Tae, Bolin, and Midday. Their expressions were devoid of smiles. Their faces were pale with fear and flushed with anger. Yet, Sime refrained from speaking to her parents. She remained silent. "How is she still alive?" Midday whispered, her voice slithering like a snake. "And look at that man," Tae spat. "He is a prince." She fell into a hole and discovered a kingdom. "It is unjust." The prince stood tall. "I am Prince Ad," he introduced himself to the family. "Sime saved my life. I wish to take her to my palace. I want to show her my kingdom." The sisters could not contain themselves. The jealousy within them swelled to such an extent that it felt as though it would explode. That night, before Sime could depart for the palace, the sisters entered her room. Sime was seated by the window, brushing her long, beautiful hair. She appeared so content. "Sister," Midday said, stepping into the room. She concealed something behind her back. It was a sharp, rusty knife. "We are truly sorry," Midday stated, though her eyes remained cold. "Please find it in your heart to forgive us." Sime turned to smile at them. "I forgive you. I love you dearly. Let us comb your hair one last time before you depart for the palace," Ta suggested. Before Sime could comprehend what was occurring, Midday seized the long hair and chopped it off. The beautiful silk strands cascaded to the floor like fallen leaves. "Now you are unattractive," Midday chuckled. "Now the prince will not desire you." But then, something dreadful transpired. The air in the room became frigid. The hair on the floor began to writhe. It did not remain as hair. It transformed into green and scaly forms. Each strand morphed into small, furious green snakes. The snakes adorned Sime's head like a crown, sprouting from her scalp. Instead of soft hair, she was now burdened with hundreds of hissing snakes atop her head. Sime gazed at her sisters, her eyes glowing with an eerie, frightening light. When Midday met Sime's gaze, she became paralyzed. She did not merely stop moving. Her skin turned to graystone. She was now a statue of a girl caught in a cruel laugh. "A monster," the other two sisters shrieked. They fled the house, stumbling over one another. Sime glanced into a mirror and emitted a loud, anguished cry. She beheld the snakes writhing on her head. She saw her terrifying eyes. "I am a monster," she wept. Overcome with fear, she fled. She escaped the village, retreating into the dark thicket. She did not wish for the prince to witness her in this state. She ran all the way back to the tall stone tower and ascended to the very top. She sat in the darkness, covering her head with an old cloth, weeping until her eyes were red. Suddenly, she heard a sound from below. Hoot, hoot, clack. It was the signal. The prince had located her. "Sime, let down your hair," he called. "I have no hair," Sime shouted back, her voice trembling. "Go away. I am a monster. If you gaze upon me, you will turn to stone like my sister." Note: the response is formatted as requested, without any additional markdown or text. However, the prince did not leave. He possessed great strength. Using his hands and feet, he ascended the stone walls. He was unconcerned about the dangers involved. He hurried through the window and entered the room. Sime was curled up in the corner. "Please, do not look at me," she pleaded. The prince approached her. The snakes on Sime's head were hissing aggressively, poised to strike. Their eyes glowed yellow and malevolent. Yet, the prince did not focus on the snakes. Instead, he gazed directly into Sime's tear-filled eyes. "When I was a monkey, you did not flee," he spoke gently. "You recognized the man within the four. Now allow me to see the girl within the snakes." He extended his hand and cradled her face. He did not turn to stone. Why? Because his love was too powerful to be affected by any curse. He leaned forward and softly kissed her lips. The moment his lips made contact with her skin, the snakes ceased hissing. They began to diminish in size. One by one, they transformed back into soft golden silk. Her hair grew long once more, cascading down to the floor, even more exquisite than before. Sime returned to her true self. The prince brought Sime to the palace, yet he did not forget the actions of her sisters. He dispatched his guards to the village to retrieve the stone statue of Midi. He positioned it prominently at the entrance of the grand palace gates for all to see. A wooden sign was hung around the statue's neck, stating, "Here stands a girl who possessed a heart of stone." Thus, her body is now stoned as well. The other two sisters, Ta and Balani, were denied wealth. As a consequence of their cruelty, they were forced to serve as attendants in the palace. Each morning, as they passed through the gates to commence their duties, they were reminded of their sister, now a statue of stone. They had to remember that hatred only breeds coldness. Sime and Prince Ad lived in great happiness. Sime's hair remained long and beautiful, and she utilized her power to ensure that every child in the kingdom felt cherished, regardless of their differences. Her parents relocated to the palace, enjoying a life of luxury. The sun does not seek the moon's approval to shine, and the river continues to flow regardless of stones being thrown into it. If you dedicate your time to digging a pit for your brother, you are merely constructing a grave for your own happiness. A heart of gold will invariably discover a crown, whereas a heart of stone will ultimately become as hard as rock. Love perceives the individual, while hate only recognizes the exterior. Strive to be like silk, soft, resilient, and inherently beautiful. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in my next story.